guys, Tracy at the Rhapsody Art Barn. How are you today? There we go. Trying to get some light on the situation. So if you're here, you're interested in the new paint Inlays. Brand new product. Brand spanking new product. And it's patent pending. It's by the IOD sisters, so Iron Orchid Designs, IOD. And it is a whole new concept in furniture decorating, mixed media, you know, basically all over home decor, embellishment. So I'm sitting here doing this, I'm just painting while I'm talking to you for a second. And I'll show you what I'm doing in just a second. And I actually started the process ahead of time so that you wouldn't have to watch the paint dry. But this is for the second application, and you'll get a little more info as soon as I start showing you what I'm doing. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about the second application. So here we are. Paint Inlays. What's different about them? So you know what a transfer is. A transfer is essentially a very high quality decal that you rub onto a piece that becomes kind of one with the piece, but it's still on top of the piece. And because it's made out of ink and a carrier, it is not okay to put a top coat sealer and stick it outside. It'll still it isn't great for outdoors, okay? It's great for decorating furniture. Indoors is fine, you know, but I just wouldn't stick it out in the elements because it's not paint. It is a decal. Then we've got the decoupage, which is a paper, and you can put any medium on top of that. So you can put those anywhere, but you're actually applying paper to whatever it is that you're applying it to. So this is a whole new concept. Like I said, this is not a paper, not a decal. This is paint. And I'm gonna tip you down so you can see what I'm working on. Bam, bam, bam. This is paint, you guys. Paint on a carrier. Super cool. There's a little strip of it so you can see. Hand painted detail looking paint on a nice thick carrier that has grid lines. I'm going to open one up so you can see. And so you can cut it to size. It comes with this as just a protective top sheet. There are two patterns. I'm using the rose chintz today. These are just carrier sheets. And here is one of the full sheets of the inlay. So it doesn't really matter which way you put it. It just depends on what you're doing with it. So if you wanted to lay it this way, you'd have to find the next sheet going the same way because they do line up with each other. Okay? So, oh, I just put my arm in the paint. What the heck? What the heck? Hold on. Let me get that off. What I'm thinking here. Okay. Good thing it's DIY paint because it just came right off with water. Okay. Until you seal it or set it, DIY paint just rubs back with water. Okay, so this piece I've already trimmed up for another piece of the project that we're working on. You can kind of see it peeking out in the corner over here. We're gonna do this top drawer. So this one's ready to start the next step, but I'm gonna do that after I show you how I got there. So I'm gonna take this down and we're gonna just play with it together, okay? Because quite frankly, it's a process. It's a process. I'm trying to see where you can see best. When I do furniture, it is a little bit harder. Let me move this out of the way so I don't put my hand in it again. Okay, so I've got this drawer and this cute little button. Where am I? backwards on here. Cute little button drawer knob. And I thought I would do both. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm doing the whole front of the piece like I showed you. So I'm going to try to match it the same way that it is on the piece. So the piece that's going up and down, because I did this really tall, thin cabinet, right? So instead of making it super easy on myself and just going like this, I'm gonna try to match it up a little bit more so that it matches the cabinet, right? Because I want the flowers to be going the same way. So you've got grid lines on one side, you've got the flowers on the other side, okay? And I have a little piece of tape I put on there because I've been messing with it. So that doesn't normally come with it. Okay, so flower side down, I'm gonna start measuring this drawer to this piece of paper. And now you can see why I had the tape here, which it got stuck to my flowers, but oh well. Oh well. So now I'm going to get it over, I mean, I want it to the edge or over because I want it to really be all over the front of this drawer. Then I can just cut it. There's grid lines that show me where to cut. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it at the edge, so that's fine. That's an easy part, I can do that. I had a roller I was using. Let me grab my scissors. When I laid it down, I was using the roller to trim off the edge. Each piece has a little bit of overlap edge that you can trim off. So I'm gonna use my scissors and I'm just gonna trim on this line. It's gonna be a little over, that's okay. I don't want it under, I want it over. However, when you're lining them up, make sure that you know if you're going over, like on the sides, like the way I did this one, I had to exactly, these are 2 sheets here, I had to exactly match them up with the flowers. So I did not want to go over on this. I like did it exactly so that the flowers lined up. And you'll see on this one what I'm talking about. I wish I could get you up and down more, but I'll kind of tilt you. Okay, so right now the flowers stop here and I need to figure out which flower this is. So with the rest of my paper, I can kind of match it up. Well, there's another flower. It looks the exact same right here. These 2 little guys look just like these 2 little guys, right? So I'm gonna overlap the grid lines so that I can line up these flowers. And you don't have to do this on the project. I'm kind of trying to let you see. It might actually be easier if I don't do it on the project. Let me just do this real fast so you can see. I'll tip you down a little more. Okay. So what I'm saying is these flowers right here are the same as these flowers right here. So I'm gonna try to match them up to the grid lines. And that'll allow me to mark where I want to cut on both the top and the bottom. Let me remove this tape so I don't mess up my project. Okay, so I can see that the flowers match up here. I can see the flowers match up here. So they're gonna match up over here, right? It just makes sense. So I'm gonna make this paper as straight as I can along one of these edges. It helps if you have this mat, but you know, you can just do it with the grid lines. And then I'm gonna match these flowers up to these flowers again, trying to match my lines here. You can kind of peek and see you're in the right place. Everything looks pretty good. And then I use a ruler. I go along the same edge as I already have. And I roll it. Or you mark it and you cut it. Whichever one you have. But you want them the same, right? And then I'm saving this little scrap. Okay, I'm gonna do the same right here. I can kind of see, mark my lines up again. I'm really notorious for moving everything all the time. I want these flowers. Oh shoot, you know what? What am I doing? Okay, do over. I'm matching them up, but they're not gonna match up. I want this piece. Okay. I've got to rethink what I was doing for a second because I almost cut the wrong piece. Okay, so I want the extending piece to the end. So good thing I didn't trim. Okay. Here we go. I almost cut this way, but I need to cut this way to match them. So this is just along the same grid line. We just cut this one, so we're just going along that same grid line. So I don't even need that sheet. And I'm just gonna extend all the way, right, along that line. Not even really that even, but it doesn't matter. The only time it matters is when you're butting up against the other piece, okay? That's when you wanna get it as close to the same. Okay, so now, again, I'm lining up my piece so that I know where it is. There we go. Flowers on the flowers. Flowers are the same, flowers are the same. And now I'm cutting this end off because that is what I'm gonna butt up next to, right? Make sure. I'm gonna come up to that flower, and that flower's right there. I'm having a hard time seeing my lines through there, so I just wanna make sure the lines are the same. Hold on. There's my line, there's my line, there's my line. And I can just see it. I'm just scared to do it without my ruler. There we go. Okay. So the piece I need is this little piece. I need these to match together. See how they match together now? Okay, so I'm done with these. However, I'm not gonna get rid of this because look, this would be really cute on my little knob, right? So I'm gonna hold on to this. Hold on to these scraps. Okay, so let's get everything out of the way. Get you back up here where you can see what I'm doing, kind of. And let's line up my drawer again and make sure that it fits. And I'm thinking I'm pretty good. And there's texture in this drawer. It is not a smooth surface. Okay, kind of created a little line when I cut. Hold on. There we go. And then I line these two up so they're right up next to each other and they match. There's only one flower on this to match, so it's not that big a deal on this one. I happen to have a piece that didn't have a lot of flowers up here. So no big whoop. Okay, so it matches, it's good. I can get this done. I'm gonna have a little overlap, that's okay. I'm not gonna worry about that. I just wanna make sure there's enough. You can always just score this where it's gonna end if you want to. And cut that off. Take that little where you scored it and cut it off, or I'll just make it a little smaller so that I can, it's just not right on the line. So that I can just add it to the piece here. Okay, can't lay this piece on its side, so we gotta go up and down. Okay, okay, now our pieces are cut. That to me is like the hardest part, but it's just because I'm not a like careful sewing type person. I like to slap things on and I like the vintage look, so I love the look of this when it's done. Okay, I'm using DIY paint, but you can use any chalk style paint. I'm using it in the color Prom Queen, which is just a fun baby blue. I'm gonna do one piece at a time, so I'm gonna wet down. Got a little in my drawer thing there. Got a little too much. I'm gonna wet this down thoroughly, and with the DIY paint, it's super thick. So I'm actually going to thin it out a little and make it wet. I want this to be wet on every inch of the surface I'm going to apply this stuff to, right? Like wet paint, not like soaking wet, but you know, I want the paint to be wet. Okay, and it dries so fast that sometimes I find I have to go back in even before I've even applied it and touch it up. Okay, now we're gonna go the same way that we've been going. So we want those flowers to match up. And we're gonna go right to the edge. If you can see, and I'll have to tilt you down. So we're gonna go right to the edge. This one I didn't quite get to the edge. Oh, now it's sticking already. Oh well, it's not gonna go to the edge. Hold on. Oh. Go to the edge. There we go. And because of this pattern being, oh gosh, golly. Now I gotta wet my paint again. Sorry guys. I'm not fast enough. I'm just not that fast. Okay, wet my paint. Anything in your paint you're still gonna see, so just to warn you. Okay, wet my paint, stick it to the edge. Because my thing has a divot, it's hard to get straight. It's like it wants to lay down. And I'm gonna allow my wrinkles. I don't care about wrinkles, okay? But you can see how it kind of turns more, translucent because it's on there wet, right? I'm gonna do the other part and then I'll go to the next step. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one on too. This one that lines up with this flower down here. Clearly not a very straight cutter. I'm gonna re-wet this surface. It's gotta be wet paint or it won't stick to it, right? It's gotta stick to it. It doesn't matter, I got a little on the carrier paper, that's okay. The only problem with that is when I try to pull it off, it might be harder to pull off. Okay, then I'm gonna match the flower to the flower. And I'm going to suck it down. And again, I'm just not that straight. I'm just not that straight. I'm not a perfect painter. Okay, I like messy look. See how I got paint on here? I'll show you in a second what I'm gonna do. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of mush it down. You can use your fingers, you can use the brayer. You can try to get all the bubbles out. Or you can be like me and embrace the wrinkles, okay? And then you take I'm gonna take my little baby wipe and get some of this. You don't wanna make this too messy. I'm just gonna wet down a rag. And I'm just gonna go over it a little and kind of dampen the paper down into the wet paint. And some of this started to dry already. So I want to really get it on there so that it's going to embed this pattern with paint into the existing paint so that it creates a floral pattern of painted on flowers. Super cool, okay? Any questions? Because I'm not, there we go. I think I can see if somebody asked a question. Okay, so I am going to leave that there. Don't worry about taking off the circle in the center. Don't worry about anything because you're pulling the carrier paper back. And if you can, you're saving it for another project, which is super fun. Okay, so that is as easy as that is. Cut it, apply it to wet paint, and then we're going to dampen it. Then you let it dry. You just leave it alone, let it dry, okay? So then after about a half an hour, after it's completely dry, depending on where you live, you end up with, ta-da, this dried on paper. Okay, there we go. Is that straight, kind of? Okay. This dried on paper on this little cabinet, okay? So now it's dry. It's back to being more opaque, it's more white, it's more You can tell, you can feel it. It's completely dry. I did this one, I don't know, a couple hours ago when I came in. So it's really dry. Okay, you're gonna do the same thing you do when you first apply it, and you're gonna dampen a rag or just spray this. I don't feel as confident just spraying this. I like to be able to see with my hands what I'm doing here as I dampen it. I like to be able to kind of get my little fingers in there. Now, the one thing I didn't do that I have seen other people do is leave a little paper at the top to pull with. I hope that that's not a problem. I cut around these. All I did was snip around these so I didn't have to take these off. Again, the pattern is, it's, maybe I will dampen this a little. The pattern is a, like it's a random. It's not like every single square inch is gonna be pattern. So if there's little blemishes, that's okay. And a lot of people, you know, you can go back in because it's paint, and you can maneuver the paint around once you embed it. And you can also go back in and distress because it's paint. It's awesome. And you can use your sealers because it's paint and seal it with your favorite sealer. And I'm gonna distress this. This cabinet is a raw, kind of a pine cabinet, and I want it to be kind of vintage, like the paper, vintage look. And I will show you the other pattern too. But there is another pattern of this same inlay out. Okay, so I dampened it, and now you're supposed to be able to, now this is my first time doing this, you guys, just like you. You're supposed to be able to just peel the carrier back. This is in 2 pieces, so it's gonna come apart in a different, and try to carefully peel it so you can save the image again for the next use, because there can be 2, sometimes 3 uses, if you're really lucky, 4, because there's still paint on there. How cool is that? It's now on the cabinet. I did not paint all these little flowers, and guaranteed they would not look like this if I had. Because I am no painter. However, I am a good, really good crafter / furniture decorator, and I can do this. Would I call it a beginner project? I don't know. It is, I feel it resisting, so I'm gonna wet it a little more. It is a process. It's not a hard process, but you have to go through the motions. You really want to make sure that you're doing all the steps. So it is a process. And just because, you know, I guess people who are more crafty with cutting and sewing and that kind of thing would probably enjoy this project more, because you want to match up. But how satisfying is this, you guys? Look at that. And now I'm going to try to use this again. Usually you wait for it to dry, you lay it face up so that the roses, you know, so you're not messing with the roses, War of the Roses. And I'm going to try to apply it to some canvas. I'm excited to try that because I think it'll be beautiful as a backdrop. Okay, now, what do you think, guys? What do you think about that? Is that incredible? Look at the detail. Now I'm going to pull you out. Yeah, and show you. Okay, maybe. Let's see if I'll flip you around. I want you to see up close because it is paint, and look at, see where it's naturally not sticking to places. That's what I like, right? You can't make that. You can't make that with even like sanding it back. And I'm going to sand it back some more. For some reason, I'm not getting a bright enough. Oh, there we go. Is that not gorgeous? Look at the detail. It is hand painted now. That cabinet that little pine cabinet that is nothing is now so fun, right? Okay, so now I've got the drawer. Let me turn you around, sorry. I've got the drawer. Keep hitting that button. I want you light, I want you bright. So I've got the drawer that I'm doing, that we did, that is drying. You can tell it's not dry yet because it's still translucent here. See how bright the flowers are down here? Once it's completely dry, we re-wet it and pull it off, but right now it's not done. And then I have this little cutesy knob. What do you think? Should I put this on the knob? I just think that'd be so cute. Let's put this on the knob. It's too cute. So I'm just gonna take the same Prom Queen paint. You can use any color, you know, any color that you like with this under. I would use the same color. I wouldn't use like that green or that yellow, but if it's a complementary color, or I'm trying to get this in the middle while I'm talking. A complementary color, or one that contrasts and makes it look cool. Yeah. So I am just applying this. This was a lot easier. Look how little that is. I'm applying this just with my hands, and I'm going around the edges. I'm kind of squishing it around. I'm making it my own. I need a little more paint. I didn't get enough paint on the edges, so I'm gonna just add a little bit of that, because I don't mind if the pattern's not perfect. I want it to just be, and you can go back in and do more on the same thing. There's no rules. You can use the same one. Okay, so I got it on really well. It is a little bit messy because I did use a lot of paint. And I'm gonna go in with my rag and wet it down. I'm actually using a baby wipe, but I have a rag around here. And wet it down just enough to make it see-through. And that's what the knob is gonna look like right there. Cute, cute. How easy peasy is that? So think about this for all different stuff, right? It doesn't have to just be for furniture, although furniture is super fun, super fun. This transfer, this stuff comes in 8 sheets, 8. This whole cabinet, I used 2 sheets so far for the drawer and this, and I still have, like I said, extra left over. Now I could take this clean sheet and put it onto this canvas, but I know that you can use more than one application of this stuff. Now usually, like I said, you let it dry out to use it again, but you know, I'm on a live. I'm living large. I want to see. I want all the stuff now. So I just put, before we started talking, I just put a, oh, dang, I got something on this already. I just put a quick coat of, is there something on my hands or something? I put a quick coat of White Swan, DIY White Swan paint. I'm gonna be playing with this with other brands too. I'll do some Dixie Belle too. But I used White Swan, and I'm gonna do that again. Okay, so I'm just going to get it wet. We're gonna go through that process real fast again. There we go. It's not a hard process, is it? It's not hard. It's just, you gotta do all the steps. If you don't do all the steps, you're not gonna have it turn out, and then you're gonna be mad at me. So watch the video and learn all the steps and just do them. Now, once this cabinet is dry to the touch, I can go ahead and seal it. First, what I'll seal it with is a spray. So I will mix my sealer with a little bit of water and do a light spray over it so I don't ruin the flowers. And you can just use a little teeny, you know, spray bottle, squirt bottle. Get them in the travel size stuff. Let's use a little teeny one. I'm gonna get this nice and juicy because you know how fabric is. It's really hard to transfer onto fabric anyway. And we're transferring paint. Paint inlays. Okay, so I'm just gonna see, I didn't use this part up here, so it doesn't look like it anyway. So maybe I should put that into it. Put my back into it. Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna smudgel it around. This part kind of reminds me of decoupaging, you know. You're gonna get the wrinkles and stuff, but that's okay. It's okay, we don't mind. Now, the difference with this and decoupage is we're not leaving the paper on here. We are removing the paper once it's dry, and the paint, the actual artist quality paint, is gonna stay. Now this one has the cutouts from the drawer, and it might even have some of the blue from the cabinet on the second sheet. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna add some paint. You know, canvas is kind of cool like that anyway. You can just, different colors. Okay, now this is the point where you let it dry. I'm gonna do a little bit of cheating. Let's see, I got my heat gun over here. Let's see if I can cheat a little bit. I don't know. Honestly, if it were not the fact that I'm live, I would not be doing this. I would let it dry, just let it dry. But let's see what I can do to cheat a little bit. It's gonna be harder with the fabric. I think it should really dry longer because it's gonna be staying wet. I don't know. Maybe I should just let this one sit. I should just let that one sit and dry out and do this one. Let's do this one. So I want to see the whole piece. Let's try to dry this one because this is just drying the paint, right? It's not drying the fabric and the paint because the drawer is not absorbent like the fabric. So I think we should just do our little cabinet. So anyway, you can take your clear coat sealer, whichever kind you use. For the DIY, it would be like a liquid patina or a big top. Mix it with a little bit of water into a spray bottle and do a light spritzing first. Or if you have some spray coat sealer, you know, I don't like the fumes and all that, but you know, in a pinch, you can take it outside and give it a light coat first. And then go back in with your top coat full on a brush. This one's feeling pretty dry. It's actually feeling kind of warm. I always feel it because when it's cold, it's still really wet. And this one's feeling pretty warm. Pretty warm. Okay, now let's get our wet rag. And this one, I think I can just spray. We'll see. I don't want to go too crazy because I want to save the paper. I want to use it and use it and use it some more, right? Why have 8 sheets when you can have 16 sheets or, you know, even more, 24, 32 if you're really lucky. So be careful with the carrier paper. It's really sturdy, but it's not, I mean, it's still just paper. And I don't know how much paint's gonna be left on with all my smushing in. Okay, I'm checking it. Ooh, can you guys see? This is the first use for this one. That's the first use. That's our, we lined this up with this piece, remember? So I'm gonna start at this end because it's very satisfying. And you can tell where it's really gotten a good contact and really got juicy in there. Look at how cute that is, you guys. I love the distressed. I love that. And I like the wrinkles. They don't bother me. You can kind of see. Yeah. I don't know, maybe you can't even see the wrinkles. This is where it didn't lay down very much, so you can just see a pattern. Boy, does that look like you've distressed it already or what? Okay, I'm gonna put this, just set it back in real fast so we can take a, oh, not upside down. So we can take a look. Oh, I dripped my paint. Remember I got too much paint in there? Yeah, I made a mess. Oh, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna get that off with water because it's DIY paint. Okay, look at our cabinet, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna do this one too. I'm gonna heat this little knob up. This is what came with it. It's just super cute. And we're gonna see what the knob will look like. And then I have a feeling that the canvas I painted and put this on, the second coat, is gonna take a while to dry. I don't think it's gonna be like this. I'm blowing paper everywhere, you guys. I don't think it's gonna be like this wood that's super dry, super fast, right? This one's kind of crunchy on there. You can see all the lines and everything. So let's see how it turns out. Okay, I'm wetting my rag. Wetting my rag. This is what you do with all those leftover baby receiving blankets that nobody ever knows what to do with. You cut them up and you make rags for my shop. I reuse everything I can. Okay, I'm really trying to get it wet down so that now it's back to translucent, so you know it's ready to pull. Let's try it. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Isn't that cute? Let's see, probably, I don't know. And like I said, you could go back in and put more. If you wanted to do this side that didn't get much on, you could. I'm probably just gonna leave it like that and let's see what it looks like. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so I can't really go crazy right now because clearly it's not dry. Clearly. But I have a nice big huge long screw. So let's see if I can get this in and just get a look at it. I don't want to smash them together or anything. Oh, that's a lot of paint. I kind of overdid it on the paint there, didn't I? Whoa, globs of paint. Globs and globs. This is gonna be painted together, let alone screwed on. Okay, it's not even all the way through. It's a big long one. So I'm not gonna push it tight, but I'm gonna put it on so we can see. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Oh, I love it. I love it a lot. What do you think, guys? If you love it, share the love. So these are the paint inlays, and let me grab the other pattern because I want to show you. Here's the other pattern. Super cute too. That white and blue, so fun. 8 sheets, 8 matchable, line-upable sheets. So, like I said, this whole cabinet took only 2 sheets to do, and I still have leftover pieces. Not a ton of leftover, but you know, I can do a little project with that. I can put this on metal, I can put it on anything. It's paint, it's chalk style paint, right? So you can put it on anything. It embedded itself into the wet paint that I had on here. Super fun. So I'm excited to see what you guys all do with this stuff. I mean, it just took this little cabinet and made it a super fun project. This paper is, this canvas is still super wet, and I'll show you. This is the second use. It's gonna go on. It's gonna be on there. Thanks, Kelly. It's gonna go, right? It's gonna be less than the first one, but it'll still get on this. It'll still get on this canvas. I want it to be as really dry and pressed in as possible. Oh, now it's not gonna go back down because I took it off. But let me tell you, well, let's just do it, right? This is fun. This is fun. So if you let it dry, it'll probably even put more paint on there, but we're playing. Who uses their canvases as wall hangings? This is the base for a good mixed media project. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with canvas. It's super fun. You can put transfers on them. Now we know we can put paint inlays on them. Let's see. It's very faint in places. Like I said, I didn't let it dry like I should. I'm breaking the rules, but I do want to show you. Oh, okay. So now you can see first application, this one didn't really get used the first time. See how bright it is? And then second application's very faded. And this is on material, canvas, just plain canvas with paint on it. So like I said, I would have let it dry overnight. Maybe I would have gotten some more color, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know how many uses. You know, it depends on how hard everybody presses in, how long it sits, how wet you get it. I'm sure there's a ton of variables. But typically you can at least use it twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times, and you just get a lesser imprint. But I actually don't mind that either. I mean, we can make that into super fun stuff too. Put something on there, put a transfer on there, put a picture on there, and hang it. Okay. What do you guys think of the paint inlays? Fun? I'm super excited to see what you guys do with these, and let me know. #replay. Show me the love. Tell me you've watched the video. Share it if you think other people will enjoy it. And definitely next week I'm not going to be here. I know I keep saying I may not be here, but next week is the farmhouse show. I'm gone. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm done. By Sunday, yeah, I will be popping on to show you videos of the farm show. So I will be around. I just won't be in the shop. So let me know if you have any questions. If you order online, you're fine. I can still come and go here. How would it be hold up on a lampshade? Oh, it's paint. It is literally the same thing as paint. It would be fine. If you paint your lampshades, you can do this on a lampshade. Great idea, Kelly. I'm excited to try that now. So definitely, light bulbs usually aren't that hot in a lampshade. I mean, it depends on your lamp, I guess, but I think you'd be okay. So definitely, if you're in the area, stop by, come see me, say hi. I'm working on this. Isn't that pretty? I'm backwards. I always flip the camera so you guys can read all my stuff, and all it does is make it look like I'm the worst camera person in the world. But I'm working on this piece right now, and I'm not sure where it's going to be, downtown or at the farm show. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And let me know if you have any questions about the products I've used. And I will see you in 2 weeks back here or sooner at the farm show. I'll be popping on. Have a great day. Bye, guys.